Alrighty, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another day of Vantage Point Daily Cast spoiler season. It's great to be here, and hope you all are having a good evening. We had our first multi-card spoiler day, so I'm very excited, and I have two fantastic guests on, both from NSG, to talk about some of the changes that were brought in today. I will, let's see. I should know how to do all of my smooth intro stuff, but I apparently do not. Oh, that's not the right thing. All right, so we are on Sunday the 15th. We had both a visual article and a rules article today, and we'll talk about both these pieces. And to talk about the rules, we have Jamie on. Jamie, would you mind introducing yourself to the stream and telling us a little bit about your history with Netrunner, and then what your favorite NBN card is?
Hello, I'm Jamie. I'm the rules manager for NSG. I have been playing Netrunner since around the beginning of the spin cycle, which was, a set that heavily featured bad publicity, which might be relevant in tonight's conversation. You did not give me enough notice to really think about picking a favorite NBN card, but I will pull a deep cut of a card that I really like from the old days. City Surveillance.
Ooh, okay. Let me pull that one up because, I may not remember what that card does. I want to try it. Hold on. Is this...
It makes you pay a credit.
Oh, you didn't even give me a chance to guess.
Not good.
Yeah, this is the runner can pay, 1 credit at the start of their turn to avoid taking a tag? Yeah.
Yep.
A 5 res 3 trash. That is a spin era card if I've ever seen one.
Yep.
That's such a good. That's a great callback, Jamie. That's fun. It's really fun to look at these kind of old card effects and go, what were they cooking back then? But you're not the only guest we have on tonight. We also have Izzy. Izzy, would you mind introducing yourself? Telling people how you got into Netrunner, what your involvement's in it, what your involvement is in it these days, and what your favorite NBN card is.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Izzy. I'm a member of the community team at Null Signal Games. I lead the community team. I'm also a member of the steering committee for Null Signal Games, helping steer the organization and helping make the game. So super excited to be getting into spoiler season, being able to show you all these cards we've been working so hard on. My favorite NBN card is going to be AstroScript Pilot Program, because have you scored an AstroScript Pilot Program before?
Oh, I have the wrong version of this. I'll need to go and find the correct image of AstroScript.
Yeah, we underwrited that.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta go find. I don't know what my source of this is. So, hey everyone, it's great to see people turning up in chat. Yeah, I don't know how much the both of you have played the quick draft format. I probably at some point will just do a quick draft stream because it's a lot of fun. But my very first one, I got the 4x AstroScript. I'm like, this feels illegal, but man, it's fun. Cool. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. So rather than dilly-dallying too much, we should maybe go into the first card, and I think this discussion will have a couple different parts to it. I think we'll introduce the card, and then Jamie, maybe we'll talk about some of the rules changes that this card. I'm not gonna say this card brought about, but that are related to this card. So this card that is up on screen is Editorial Division. It is an NBN Identity Subtype Division 4515. The first time each turn you take a bad publicity, you may search R&D for one non-agenda Black Ops, Grey Ops, or Liability card and reveal it. Shuffle R&D after searching it, add that card to HQ. Flavor text, it never happened. So I think there's two different things to talk about here. Liability is a new subtype with an asterisk. And so maybe Jamie, do we want to start talking about what that's all about?
Sure. So, liability is the subtype that is retroactively being applied to every corp card that gives the corp bad publicity in any way. So, the dev team wanted to be able to have a hook, a way to refer to cards that can give bad publicity without like having to write out card that can give you bad publicity and then have to like figure out splitting hairs about like, oh, does Super Deep Borehole give you bad publicity or whatever the wording might have been for that. So we are making it uniform and clear in the official text. All of the past cards that give you bad publicity in any way will have that new subtype on NetRunnerDB as of when the set releases and we post the update. And then just to avoid confusion and duplication, the illicit subtype was on about half of the older cards that gave the corp bad publicity. So that is being retired.
Okay.
And will no longer be part of the official text.
Great.
So basically, what editorial division does is when you distract the populace by getting them upset about something, then you can do something else nasty or that they might get upset about and hope they don't notice.
Nice. And yeah, this also goes to, actually, I guess we can talk, maybe we can talk about the bad pub change in a little bit, and we can just actually give editorial division its moment in the sun, and we can come back to bad pub in a little bit, if that sounds good. So Jamie has already talked about. Izzy, do you want to talk a little bit about, anything that stands out about this ID that you want to start the discussion with?
Well, here's a pop quiz. How many cards in the standard format can this tutor?
Oh, I have an NetRunnerDB search up for it. I shouldn't answer this.
Oh, I have not, and I've seen people say this number, and now I can't remember, and I'm trying to guess off the top. Okay, so let me think off the top of my head. So we got Super Deep Borehole, we got Valentine, we've got Piranhas, we've got the other card that was spoiled today, though that maybe doesn't count for this count. Oh goodness. Oh, and there's I want to say 2 different cards in Ashes, Game Over, and oh no, I thought there was another one that I could think of in Ashes.
There are 2 cards that can give bad publicity in Ashes.
Okay, so if it's just 2, then it's Game Over and Trebuchet. I thought there was another NBN one maybe, but now I'm doubt. I guess there isn't.
There's an NBN card that removes bad publicity.
Yes. Okay. Increased drop rates. Yep.
I was asking about cards you can fetch. The Black Ops, Gray Ops, or Liability.
So just only a third of the way through this.
Yeah. So if we can fetch all those, I'm gonna guess 16.
Okay. So obviously the subtype change is not all the way through NRDB yet. So some cards are missing from the search, but I'm looking at 21 already. This can go get.
Wow. Okay.
Which feels like a pretty wide pool of things you can do. I know I'm particularly excited to go. We've already mentioned it, to go pull a Game Over out of the deck. Why would I pull a Game Over out of the deck?
Why do you have 21 when I have 25?
Ooh, probably because I spelled something in my search if I had.
So I'm just searching for S:"ops vertical bar illicit and then Z:"latest.
Mine is Black Ops or Gray Ops or illicit Z standard. Anyway, who knows?
Anyways, we'll have to figure out some better. Someone will get the definitive search at some point.
So
it's a bigger number than I expected. Is the main point. When I looked at the card, I was like, surely this doesn't get that much. No, it gets quite a number of things. That feels very exciting.
So most tag punishment operations are in there. And then there are several other Gray Ops that just do a pretty interesting variety of things. one of the things that I thought was particularly interesting is there are cards that are kind of too techy to really want to like dedicate slots to, but they're gray ops, and if you can tutor them, then maybe you can find a slot for one copy of ScapeNet or business as usual to clear an Audrey.
ScapeNet is a very good shout. Business as usual is probably a little bit harder, though. Business as usual has also seen its little niche in with like the Vladisbersk City Grid combo, like giving you some like Vladisbersk City Grid combo stuff, and maybe that's an interesting angle for editorial division. Obviously, you can't tutor the Vlads, but having a little bit of interaction. But yeah, no, that's an interesting thought. And then yeah, business as usual. I will pull back up. It's definitely not one. What's the Wayland one? I don't remember if this is a gray ops. That's like install a card from archives if the runner's tagged.
You thinking of Trust Operation?
That is what I'm thinking of. That is also a gray ops.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is, yeah. Well, I mean, it has play only if the runner is tagged, which is like the most common line of text on gray ops.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That is probably one of the defining features of gray ops. John Delaney is asking in the chat, are old illicit cards getting an extra type liability, even though those cards are already printed without that code word?
So the illicit subtype is getting replaced with liability.
Okay.
So
and then some cards
standard, it only affects 4 cards. But like hostile takeover, all the old cards, whether they had illicit or not, if they give the court bad publicity, then we're giving them the liability subtype. So editorial division tutors anything that can give you bad pub.
Okay, so in the alternate wacky format where you get to play outside of faction agendas in your ID. Oh, actually, okay, yeah. So if, in the future, if you draft editorial division and you also draft a hostile takeover, you get to tutor it when you take a bad pub. That's kind of cool.
Hostile takeover has been my go-to example in like internal conversations when people's first instinct is, wait, wasn't illicit already the subtype for bad pub? And I'm like, well, no, lots of cards have existed all along that do bad pub things but don't have illicit. It's been really inconsistent, and that's one of the reasons that we're making a change, is we want to make it just clear and uniform.
Yeah, very neat. Yeah, so I think clearly, like, tutoring is clearly a powerful effect, but I think probably a. Wait, why could you not tutor for? Oh, it does say for one non-agenda on the text. Yeah. Oh. Rules are dev.
Sorry.
Foiling my plans once again. I'm just gonna. I will just.
That was a dev call. I don't think anything would break like on a technical level if you could tutor agendas with this, but it does seem really powerful if you could tutor agendas with this.
Boo. Anyway,
it's an interesting card though, right? Like we're tutoring either mostly tag punishment, realistically, or public trail, which we had up on screen a bit earlier. As your way to give a trail. Like, that's a nice combination, that if you draw your tag punishment, you can go grab the public trail. If you draw your public trail, you can go get the punishment and go with the 1-2 punch if the runner doesn't have the 8 credits. And throw that out there. But then, like, that's not a game plan. That's like a supplement to your game plan. That's like something else going on alongside it. This has a lot of flexibility in it as an ID, and I have not landed on like what is the shell that makes me super excited to go pull these pieces out of the deck yet. Because like bad pub makes it so much harder to just like keep stuff on the board, right? Like MBN assets are really strong right now, and this identity is not going to be the home for that unless you're, I don't know, increased drop rates clearing your bad pub every time you do it, which feels like not the winning play to me, but who's to say?
Yeah, I guess I kind of look at like Oppo research is an interesting thing where like you probably might be able to play some amount of assets and still be kind of okay because you can tutor it as needed. But I think that's an interesting one.
If the assets give you bad publicity, then you can tutor for them and also tutor with them.
And there's going to be, I think, probably the next card that I was going to transition into before, but we'll have some good points there. But yeah, I just want to clarify. John asked a good question in chat, which is like, can you trigger once on the runner turn and on the corp turn? And absolutely, those are separate turns. So you can, you could tutor twice every time around the table if you can set up your deck just right. So, yeah.
And one of the interesting things is this deck does want you to have like a combo, and the combo pieces are going to be operations, but you can also do other things besides fetching your like kill combo pieces. You can fetch ice, and you can fetch econ cards.
Yeah, I mean,
anything that gives you bad publicity is going to qualify. So
yeah, fetching piranhas, which currently has illicit, that will be replaced with liability, is like, piranhas is a really good piece of ice in the format right now. It just kind of doesn't have a home. And so it definitely seems like this could be an interesting component of the deck for sure. But yeah, I think we talked about like that tension of like, okay, you're probably looking for operation combos, but you need this also has an install clause. You probably want some amount of assets, so it's probably worth talking about the other card that was spoiled alongside with the editorial department is the Neil. We're having the classic
Nilo, I think.
Nilo. Yeah, Jeff looks at the card and goes, "Oh goodness, how am I going to pronounce this?" Nilo Agent, which is an asset enforcer liability. It's a 1 to res, 3 to trash, and BN asset for 2 influence. When you res this asset, load 3 power counters onto it. When it is empty, trash it. When your turn begins, remove 1 tag and 1 bad publicity. When your discard phase ends, give the runner 1 tag, take 1 bad publicity, and remove 1 hosted power counter. And the flavor text has some crossed out text.
There's no flavor text on this card. This card has never had flavor text. What are you talking about?
And the delete key, or a glyph for deletion, is my understanding, though I will admit to not being the most versed in that. So
apparently there's a very similar glyph that's like used for some kind of currency, and so when this glyph was on like the teaser bullet points when we announced like the release date for Vantage Point, people were like speculating about like, what does that mean in the bullet point. I'm pretty sure some people did pick up on this usage of it.
Yeah, I also
but yeah, it's go ahead.
I want to shout out like I've seen like this is a piece of art that I've seen people have kind of different feelings on, but like I thought if people haven't, both the editorial division and the Nilo Agent were in the NSG art article, and I thought it was both a well-written article, and also I really like both of these pieces. We didn't actually mention the editorial division has like, it's not, it feels a little bit, I don't want to say off theme for Netrunner, right? But it feels a little bit like we're not just looking at futuristic corporate headquarters that's, office building darkness vibe. This is the like intimidating futurism, like intentionally intimidating futurism, which I think is a very fun aesthetic in Netrunner. It also gives me a little bit of like a Control, like brutalist.
Yeah, I was about to say any Remedy fans in the chat are perhaps a bit unsettled by upside down pyramids.
And I really like the Nilo Agent piece as well. I think it's a very the interacting with the fourth wall interaction, I think is like, you don't want to overdo it, but I think this is a very fun kind of usage of it. So
point of view, you're being erased from existence.
Yeah. Yeah, so we sort of I guess we can go back. So like, I think something to think, so this card does, I think it can be it has a lot of text. I think like kind of a way to think about it is like, it on your turn, like on the runners at the end of your turn, you gain a bad pub and you tag the runner, and then you reset that state at the start of your turn, which is sort of an interesting effect. And like clearly it does help the editorial division, this kind of says, oh, I get to, if I res this, I'm going to go and get to tutor a card from my deck, which is a nice way to kind of get a chain started.
I love this card. It's the bad pub hokey pokey.
That's a great way to phrase it.
I'm excited to put this card in Synapse. Like sometimes the way that you avoid giving Synapse triggers is you just don't clear your tags for a turn. And this says, no, you're going to clear that tag, and you're going to do it before I spend any clicks.
Yeah, that is actually pretty neat. And so, someone pointed out, it's like, oh yeah, with, it's interesting that like this card, yeah, kind of does that hokey pokey. So it sort of does nothing, and yet in the process of doing nothing, it has a lot of neat different hooks. So the Synapse is a very neat hook. Obviously, editorial division is a neat hook. I had not actually thought about this, but I think chat had a nice little call out here of B1001 also has an interaction with this to some degree.
It's a lot of the same excuse me. It's a lot of the same interactions you're thinking about. Is it Acme, the runner is considered tagged during the outermost ice they're encountering? Yeah. That sort of space of like, where does it matter that the runner is tagged on their turn but not the corp turn? It's an interesting one.
Yeah, and it's
well, it matters because you can make that not true. You can, if you get an install on the runner's turn, you don't have to clear the tag. You could put something over top of it, or if you have warm reception.
Warm reception is what I was thinking of. I was about to bring that one up. Because, of course, the order works in your favor when you're sequencing those triggers.
Yeah, so
you don't get to remove Battlelicity if you're not clearing the tag, but whatever.
Yeah, it's the I do like that like slight fairness lever where it's like, oh, you can't cheat and remove the bad pub, but not remove the tag, But there's a lot, the other one probably to mention. Svetagor. Okay,
yep,
Jeff apparently doesn't remember how to spell Svetagor, or maybe something's broken in Svetagor. That would be tragic.
Can you put in
I just can't type. Okay. I'm going to be honest, Jamie. I'm not sure I could spell excavator with more confidence than Svetagor. But we're not going to worry about my slightly dyslexic self. Yeah. So like anything that
the card.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I do appreciate with the card too that you're always netting one bad pub at the end, right? Like it'll do its thing 3 times at the end of the dance. When it trashes itself, when it's empty, that's when you take the bad pub and give the runner a tag, right?
Yeah. So I have a story. So in playtesting, I think pretty much the whole way through, the abilities were in the other order. And when it got handed, the final version got handed off to the rules team to write the final wording, we ended up flipping it because sort of the intuition is like you're taking, you're getting a bad pub and a tag, and then you're getting rid of them, and you're taking it and you're getting rid of, but then if you're thinking about it that way, you expect not to end up keeping the tag and the bad pub that you take and then remove over and over again. So we put them in the other order so that it sort of jumps out more that, hey, this isn't just take a thing and remove it. You can start with either one depending on when you res it, and you're always going to end with, if it trashes itself, the last thing it did was give you a bad pub and give the runner a tag.
Nice. That's interesting, and it's a nice little change to kind of try and guide and suggest some hints on different things. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
If you had a bunch of bad publicity and tags on the board, then yeah, you break even on this. But
just that this is definitely up there for some of the best art in the set, I think, and I want this on a playmat.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this is. I will say, I need the art team to go a little bit less hard because OP keeps looking at like half of the set and going, "Oh, we want this on the playmat," and we only do like so many playmats a year, and it keeps becoming very challenging to figure out which ones are going to be our top ones for the given year. And we try and rotate factions. Like, there's a lot, but it is. I wouldn't mind if art took it a little bit easier on OP for having just a few more standout bangers and a few less just bangers all the time. Um, but no, this is a great art, and honestly has the nice feature for playmats of being a lot of kind of broad color, like colors without a lot of
Yeah.
distraction noise. So. Mhm.
This is the kind of playmat you set it down on the table and you turn it around to face your opponent.
Um,
Somebody asked in the chat about if there's only one thing to remove, and yes, it is just an instruction to remove a tag and a bad publicity, and you do as much as you can. Nothing in here is a cost that you're trying to pay or anything. Nothing is dependent on anything else within any of the abilities. So you do all of the parts that are applicable.
Yeah, and Wenjung also mentioning like if you overinstall this, that's going to do the same thing as deresing it or selling it. But there's not. I think it's like Warm Reception is the only start of turn install trigger at the moment. That's like
I mean,
super.
Plutus, arguably, but
Yeah, yeah. You can. There's a lot. There's probably quite a few ways
yeah.
to do it in practice, but that's the like on a single card
No,
has
that's
it.
a good point actually. Like I was thinking about the DRes, but like warm reception giving you both options is really enticing because now you have the option to ice it as the situation demands.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think that it's like, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting to think about in terms of like editorial board. Like, you kind of need a card. Like, this starts as an editorial division like combo piece, but I think it's not like as like a setup kind of essential piece. And there might be more stuff that we haven't seen yet. Um, but I think it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at. Like, this card does a couple of other things, and it'll be interesting to see how it kind of evolves. And you do get all these other interactions with other elements of the system of Netrunner. So
It's also a card that like the runner just doesn't. The runner needs to go trash it, but if the runner goes and trashes it during their turn, they keep the tag.
yeah, that's another neat little
There's a weird
piece.
balance there. It's like it's going to create really interesting gameplay moments, and I'm really looking forward to making those decisions on the fly.
Yeah, yeah. As the runner being like, oh, this maybe I can't. How bad is letting them have whatever card? Like, can I afford to let the corp have whatever they want out of their deck? Just to like, is that better than me dealing with the tempo loss of having a tag, or like if the corp tutors Oppo with this, am I rushing to go and get rid of this right now, or am I acknowledging that like, oh, maybe they did that because they have a punishment in hand, kind of thing? But we'll see. Should we move on to the last card that was spoiled today?
Let's.
Yeah. So this is Vulture. It's Vulture Fund, excuse me. It is a 7-cost operation, transaction, subtype liability, but operation with 2 subtypes, transaction and liability. It's 2 influence out of Wayland, and it says gain 14 credits and take 1 bad publicity. So this is the biggest hedge fund, but it's
do you
actually.
want to read the flavor text?
Oh yes, the boss likes to swoop in sorry. The boss likes to swoop in at just the last second. You should consider yourself lucky.
I love everything that's going on with animals on this
The
card.
shark.
It's a lone shark, but he's a vulture. But there's a literal shark.
Oh goodness,
This is such a Wayland card.
it is.
It's so Wayland.
My only critique is the Wayland boss is not doing the Wayland pose, but I think it wouldn't make sense for this actual frame. But It is peak Wayland, and also the double lone shark is it's a good little pun. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it is funny to me.
Is the shark collateral on the loan? They're loaning a shark.
Oh, I did not. Something I don't know why someone in the chat just mentioned measured response. I forgot that is of course a Black Ops which can be tutored. So
Yes, it is.
We'll see even more measured response than we have been.
Maybe it's a lot of influence, and I feel like it's best in multiples. So
well, that's why we tutor. But yeah, no, that's a fair. It's not your point is.
Yeah, no,
is
but I feel
is
like
still
NBN has
reasonable.
all of these tools for a tag-based kill combo.
Yeah,
and if you're going to spend 4 influence per copy, which both measured response and end of the line are 4 influence, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway, that's a tangent. So Vulture Fund. I mean, like this isn't a super like exciting card. It also plugs in the other interactions that are probably like it is. It's just a credit gain that's notable for Zwicky. It's a little bit of a nod to old Wayland bad pub cards, and like it's probably actually pretty solid in editorial department. Going up to 14 credits is a big deal. Obviously, you have to get to 7 first, which is it's not a difficult thing, but it's an ask. But
I don't want my turn 1 to be credit Vulture Fund.
I mean,
I'm not that.
It depends on what else you have in your hand and your deck.
maybe we planogram Vulture Fund, tutor up a Piranhas, install Piranhas on HQ. I like that turn a bit more.
No. You planogram Vulture Fund, tutor Vulture Fund.
Editorial is once per. Oh, actually, I forgot that you actually save a click when you get that tutor. So like you actually can install the Piranhas immediately and still have a click left if you go Hedge Fund, Vulture Fund, or Planogram Vulture Fund, and you'll still have a click left. So
yeah, you can install the thing if you get ice or something.
Yeah,
and it's so Wayland's to just not even care that like it's very clear what ice you installed.
Yeah, editorial division definitely has a bit. It has the fun. We see a lot of like Wayland and NBN overlap, and it's fun to see NBN doing a little bit more of that outfit, like in your face, I'm going to be villainous and kick stuff over kind of a approach. So I don't know that there's that much. Like, I mean, this art is fantastic. The writing is pretty good. I think it's probably worth talking about the other big change that's coming out.
Yeah. So do we want to do our surprise secret scoops that I brought?
Yeah, let's pull that up.
So we have the rules inserts that are coming in the set. So there will be a card. Bad Publicity is not in the core, so we're not assuming that players who came from System Gateway and Elevation know how it works already. So what you're looking at now is what will be in the set that players will see to explain how Bad Publicity works, which I assume people watching daily casts already know. But if you didn't see the article, what's changing is that Bad Publicity no longer, the credits that the runner gets from Bad Publicity no longer live in their credit pool. They have a dedicated spot. And the other side of this rules explainer card, you can use as the place to put those credits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, I think like I've seen a mixed set of reactions to this, and it's like in practice, while this does change things, and there's a big reflexive like anti-change, and I say that as someone who has had that complaint with rule changes in the past. This one, I think, actually ends up making a lot of sense with how people actually play Bad Publicity, right? It's like, oh yeah, when I play Bad Publicity, I get a special token, I put it by my mat, and like the fact that they're in the credit pool has interacted with some things, but like it is kind of messy that they end up in the credit pool, and it almost is, it's like, oh, explaining the difference between Bad Publicity and something like overclock credits is like an extra annoyance when having to explain to people how the game of Netrunner works. And so actually just making them act the same is kind of nice. Like, it's different and
that
changes.
Was one of the big... Sorry.
Like, change is hard, and I'm not saying that if you're in the chat you can't dislike the change. But it's like, it makes some sense. And like, potentially you can have other hooks that could deal with, like, now you can hook all of these cards together in a way that's maybe interesting and stuff.
I am so happy for this change. This cleans up. This just makes it so much easier just to explain Bad Pub in general. It just, a whole part of the game just got so much simpler. More consistent with everything. And Andre, yes, our token set does include Bad Pub for you.
A big part of why the dev and rules teams wanted to do this change was just to make it line up. Like, credits from Bad Publicity and credits from your Chesva, your Overclock, your whatever cards, they all work the same way now. So if something tells you to lose credits, that is looking at the credits that you have in your own credit pool. And if something wants to know how many credits you have, it's talking about in your credit pool. And nothing else counts. Those are credits that, yes, you have the card that they're on and some ability to use them, but they're not credits that you have. So yeah, they're not your credits.
I'm personally looking forward to my JNet stats no longer showing absurd credit gains when I'm playing like Valencia or Mining Accident or something. Like, no, I did not actually gain 200 credits in a 12-turn game of Netrunner. So there's lots of like.
Did it do that?
Yeah. I mean, because that is technically what bad publicity credits used to do. Is you would gain them and then you would lose them at the end of the run if they weren't spent, and so it would just have this like really weird tracking effect, where your bad publicity based decks had just absolutely silly numbers for bad publicity credits gained and lost, even if you didn't use them. So, yeah, as always said, change is hard. If you don't like this change, I definitely sympathize with you, but this is definitely a change. I think it's gonna make the game much easier for people to get into. So I'm generally for it.
And you all really should go read the rules article. The rules article is so good on this one.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess. Oh, actually, I probably do want to quickly talk about, like, there are a couple of like, I'm gonna call them like, probably really only two cards immediately that spring out to me as having like, quote unquote balance impacts. Valentau.
Yeah. Well, Valentau is the great example because it does both of the things that are affected.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk about how both the two ways it's affected?
Sure. So the runner loses 2 credits. The second subroutine used to be that bad publicity credits counted as credits that were in your credit pool. So if you got hit with that subroutine and you didn't want to lose, real credits, well, you could feed your bad publicity credits to it. Now you can't do that. On the other hand, if you don't have a pile of real credits, then you can't lose the bad publicity credits. So Valentau wouldn't be able to like get rid of all the money you can spend for the rest of the run. Well, okay, if the subroutines are firing, it's probably about to end the run anyway. But there are other lose credits examples where that's more relevant. But yeah, so you can't lose credits from the bad publicity fund. You can only lose them from your credit pool. And then the third subroutine counts how many credits each player has. And as I was saying, the credits that you have are just the credits in your credit pool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is a nice, it's like this and like Afshar, the two big cards I can think of that care a lot about those are the ones that I think of that are most common for the runner losing credits that would show up sometimes in bad publicity strategies, where the runner losing those credits from bad publicity was sometimes a boon, sometimes a hindrance, but like I would say on net probably a slight increase in power to both of these cards.
Now even white space is playable with your bad pub.
Oh, that's true too. I forgot. Maybe that. If in case I didn't have enough code gates already that I can play in my bad publicity deck, I've just added another one, right? So.
Oh yeah, that also does both things, doesn't it? Somehow I forgot that.
Yeah, and actually, Andre in chat calling out Mestin Chesvo actually might have a place now in bad publicity decks because that lose 3 is no longer getting eaten up by some of your bad publicity, so that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think this will be. We'll have to see what other cards come out in the set and how that will affect things, but I think that's kind of interesting.
There is one other rules insert in the set, which we can also show off. And if you've been wondering what we're doing with the double-sided ID, Melee as you, the IDs have a lore card with little fiction blurb on the back of them and stuff now. That's I love those. I'm so glad we started doing them. And then in Elevation, we had 2 double-sided IDs, so we put them on opposite sides of the same physical card. But Meliaz is the only double-sided ID in Vantage Point. So the other side of the lore card helps you work through what the ID actually does, because it is a complicated ability.
Probably the most complicated ability we've seen so far, and I will say hopefully one of the most complicated we have in the set, because you want to keep the complexity budget on cards low, but we'll have to see. I'm not gonna ask the rules manager because that feels unfair. But yeah, no, I think it's very nice to have this little sometimes reading, while the meme is always right, reading the card explains the card. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of extra stuff for a card that has 4 different sides. We're not used to 4-sided cards.
It's not an identity that you can easily grok by just reading the abilities in order. The front sides, when the runner's action phase ends, gain a credit, is not intuitive if you're just reading it. Like, you have to think through a bunch of steps to understand when that's actually going to trigger. In play, hopefully it makes sense because you actually flip the ID over. It doesn't flip back until after that timing point would have passed. But yeah, the idea that you want to get to is, if the runner doesn't play my game, if they don't run any centrals, then I get a credit. But if they do, then I get I flip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think this is a nice little explainer of the flow of the card. So, glad we can show it off, and glad that it's going to be in every pack that people get to pick up. So that's pretty cool. I guess as we're starting to get towards the end, and apologies, I have to wrap up a little bit earlier than usual. I have a crying newborn in the other room that I might have to go and attend to. Or I guess she's not so much newborn anymore. But I guess what are both of you most looking forward to for the rest of the spoiler season, or early in the when the cards come out, either one. And I guess Izzy, maybe I'll start with you just because. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing I'm most excited for is to see what all the people in the community who we're giving cards to show off to are going to do with their previews. I just am incredibly excited to see what people do with them, and I think we've got an incredibly talented group of creators surrounding the Netrunner space who we're really thankful to have and to be able to support in this way. And I think this is just very exciting time around a set release to be able to like really celebrate that. And so that's really where I've been at. That's where I've been spending a lot of my time coming into the season is getting things ready for that. So that's yeah, that's what I'm super psyched for. And also
Great.
playing Criminal.
yeah, very nice. And Jamie, how about yourself?
I'm just excited for new runner cards. I mean, I say I hope as if I don't know what's in the set, but I hope we get some weird stuff that I can, build some creative decks with. Because lately I've felt like I have a bunch of corpse that I can build, and they feel like my thing, and I like to, feel like my decks are like my personal thing that I'm doing, and
Mm-hmm.
just the runner card pool has not felt deep enough to do that many different things. So it feels like, well, I'm trying to build criminal. I have variations, but I'm ultimately doing the same thing as like there are maybe 3 things to do. um, but let's get some new criminal cards. Let's get some new shaper cards, and hopefully I can do some weird stuff.
Yeah, that's hope. I'm hoping we get some more of those weird spin cycle Genesis era FFG cards, and it definitely seems like there's the identities already feel like they're a little bit off the regular path of just here's good honest netrunner. So that gets me optimistic for the rest of the set. So tomorrow we've got another piece from narrative, and also tomorrow, and I should have announced this at the top of the stream. We will be starting about an hour earlier. It worked out better for the guests, and I can just barely make it work. So the plan will be to start at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow instead of 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm looking forward to that episode. I'm looking forward to the rest of Spoiler Week. I want to thank both Izzy and Jamie. It's been fantastic to talk with both of you, and thank you both for all the work you have put in to make this set possible and the spoiler season possible. It's really appreciated, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and I look forward to the rest of it. So thank you both.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right, and with that said, I think that's gonna be a wrap for today's show. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you on the other side.